Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Good evening and welcome. Hello, everyone. My name is Lindsay Sievert, and I am pleased to be your MC for St. Thomas Day 2024. A little background on me. I am a longtime local journalist, storyteller, and documentary filmmaker. I worked as a reporter at WCCO and KARE 11 before going independent with my storytelling and documentary filmmaking. I operate Sievert Studios, and I have the honor of crafting many of the video stories that you'll see here tonight. And real quick background, my first connection to St. Thomas was through the 360 journalism program, which I absolutely love and adore. Yes, woo! And love to volunteer, and I have worked alongside so many amazing journalists that have come through that program. Is just my heart, and I'm such a big believer and fan. So that is the entire reason how I got connected to your wonderful institution, and I can't wait for the evening that we will share together. We cannot wait for you to learn more about the 7 outstanding individuals we are here to honor this evening. We know the same greatness lies in every person in this room tonight. We all have the ability to inspire change in the world. Tonight you will learn from an economics professor who shows us that learning is a marathon, each step forming who we are. You'll meet a student who has captured hearts here on campus and now calls St. Thomas her second home. You'll meet a computer science major turned St. Thomas law student who is still on campus teaching and showing us how to recognize injustice and fight for equity in our everyday lives. You'll see a familiar face from the chapel, a fan favorite here on campus for decades, known for his humor and service to students. You will learn from the quiet strength of a donor who is a champion for young women of color. And last but not least, you'll meet a power duo determined to close Minnesota's achievement gap and move the needle when it comes to educational outcomes for students of color. During dinner, we will share snapshots of multiple students, faculty, and alumni of our Tommy community who are impacting our world and putting action and change for the good. If you are interested in learning more about these stories, I encourage you to visit the St. Thomas online newsroom. And now I would like to introduce you to another amazing Tommy, Brad Von Bank, our current Alumni Engagement Board President. Brad earned a bachelor's degree in marketing and German in 1995. He and his wife own Rev Consulting and nonprofit Rev Academy. Serving on our Alumni Engagement Board since 2019, Brad believes our shared experiences unite us, and we have the opportunity to deepen authentic connections based on these experiences. Please join me in welcoming Brad to the stage.
Thank you so much, Lindsay. It's an absolute pleasure to serve on the Alumni Engagement Board. I'm honored to be here with everyone else and tonight as we celebrate our amazing St. Thomas community and recognize that we all have the ability to inspire change in the world. Based on the huge number of nominations we received this year, we know that our St. Thomas community is strong, and Tommies are making a positive impact in their communities and across the globe. I'm so proud, like many of you, to be a Tommy. As you grow through your own life's journey and St. Thomas continues to grow as a university, I invite you to find a place of greater meaning and connection at St. Thomas. You may find a place, you're at a place in your life. You may be in a place in life to give back to our students and other alumni. The mission of St. Thomas is to advance the common good. And if that resonates with you, even in a small way, like having a career conversation with a student or talking with a family who might be considering enrolling their high schooler at St. Thomas, please reach out to our alumni team. We have many ways for you to engage more deeply with St. Thomas and our Tommy network. Our Tommy network reaches far and wide, and the more we engage, the stronger our community comes. Here to share more about St. Thomas and the changes he sees Tommy's making in the communities across the country is our president, Rob Vischer. Rob has been at the University of St. Thomas for 19 years, first as a member of the law school faculty, then as dean of the law school. He became the 16th president of the University of St. Thomas last year. Please join me again in welcoming President Rob Vischer.
Thank you. I want to welcome you to St. Thomas Day on behalf of the entire university community. A lot of work went into this. Folks who nominated the honorees, the selection committee, everybody who put the dinner on. And I want to take just a couple minutes, if you'll bear with me, to explain why this evening is so important to our community. And I'll begin just by letting you know the first question I ask every new St. Thomas student when I speak to them at the opening orientation. It's this: I'd like you to answer the question, why do you matter? Why do you matter? And many of you reflexively are going to go to, well, because I was a 3.8 student in high school, or I was the captain of the basketball team, or I was the president of student council, and I caution them. I say, those are all good and healthy things. That's great. But be careful if you are struggling to answer the question why you matter without connecting it to your external achievements. Because when you're in college, you might find that those external achievements don't quite measure up to what you hoped they would be. And maybe college, it all falls into place for you. But at some point in your life, you're going to come to a point where your external achievements are not sufficient to support your sense of self, your value, your worth. And so now, when you're just beginning this journey, now is the time to be grappling with that question, why do you matter? Can you rest secure in your value based on God's love for you, the love of family and friends, based on who you are as a person, not on what you can achieve? So right now in higher education, there is a lot of pressure on the economic ROI of a college degree, and that's totally understandable. And at St. Thomas, we take that very seriously. We give very generous scholarship aid to reduce debt. Our graduation rates are great. Our employment outcomes are awesome. Our average alumni earnings are awesome. We'll put them up against anybody's. But as educators in today's society, if that is the extent of our aspiration for our young people, a job, we're selling them so far short. Even before COVID, and since confirmed after COVID, we know that young adults, the age of our college students, are the loneliest age cohort in America. We know that the majority of young people report experiencing feelings that something bad is about to happen. We know that levels of trust, both in each other and in institutions, have declined dramatically across the generations, and now only 11% of young adults would be classified as high-trust individuals. So when we are encountering generations that are feeling disconnected and isolated and feeling despair about the future, we have to meet the moment and offer more than a good job, although a good job has to be the foundation of any valuable proposition for higher ed. That's why the mission of St. Thomas is mattering today more than it ever has, in my view, and that's why tonight matters, and let me explain. The honorees tonight, they don't need another trophy. They don't need more accolades. They don't need all this. We need all this. The rest of us, we need this. Because tonight, yes, it's a celebration, but it's also a reminder. Because our aspiration for our students is not captured in a checklist or in a PowerPoint deck. It has to be modeled by actual men and women who are other-centered and who are so secure that they are loved by God and loved by neighbor, that they can get outside their own insecurities and focus on how they can share God's love with the world around them, right? They don't need the trophy, but we need the reminder. And so I'm thankful for your willingness to gather and to lean in and to support the mission that we are so focused on at St. Thomas. It has never mattered more than today. And as we go through this evening and we learn more about all these remarkable honorees, we're not just sort of celebrating them from afar. We're letting them be the impetus for deeper reflection on the importance of the work to which we've been called. So I'm going to ask Father Collins to come up and say a blessing over our meal. And as he will always remind you, you can always clap for the guy who's delivering the prayer. It's never. The economic ROI is just the beginning of what we are called to build together. Tonight is a microcosm of lives well lived as we look back on all the cool things these honorees have done and continue to do, but let it also direct our gaze to the future. We've been at this formation mission for almost 140 years now. And with periodic reminders and nudges and encouragement, we're going to be at it for another 140 years. Welcome to St. Thomas Day.
Thank you, Rob, and what a pleasure to be with you on a beautiful evening, and also very grateful, Archbishop Hebda, for celebrating the Mass for us before this. And if you don't mind, I'm going to steal a little bit of your homily there and build on that for a prayer. It's okay? All right. So he talked a little bit about, for those who weren't there, talked about our patron, St. Thomas Aquinas, who is really known as maybe the greatest intellect in the life of the church for all of Western culture in many ways. An enormous mind, an enormous intellect. And at the end of his life, he had a sense that was all great, but in light of the love of God that he was experiencing at that moment in his life, he said, all the rest is straw. All the rest is straw, in light of love that he experienced from God. And I think in many ways that's what we are also celebrating this evening. We are celebrating people who did great things academically and learned a great deal and cultivated skills, but then something more kicked in. That love of God, the love of other people in their lives, the love of neighbor, the love of people who are in need, has motivated them powerfully to put those gifts to work. And so let's let that love fill our own hearts this evening as we thank God for the food before us. Lord, we thank you for drawing us together into your friendship and into share in your mission. And we ask your blessing to be upon us this evening and upon the food that we're about to receive. May it nourish us to do your will, to be of service in our world. We pray all this in your name. Amen. And bon appetit.
All right, everyone. Good evening again. Good evening. As you finish your meal, I hope everyone's enjoying the meal, first of all, prepared for our celebration this evening. It was delicious. Thank you. While you're finishing up eating, to give everyone a little history lesson, St. Thomas Day is named for our university patron, St. Thomas Aquinas, who is known as the universal teacher for his moral virtues: prudence, justice, fortitude, and temperance. St. Thomas's actual feast day is in January. However, we are pleased to celebrate in May when it's warmer and hopefully a little less snowy. From our first Tommy Award given in 1931, the Professor of the Year, Humanitarian and Distinguished Alum Awards given in the 60s and 70s, Father Lavin Award in the 90s, and our newest award, the Spirit of St. Thomas, premiering in 2022, honoring leaders in our community is a proud tradition. We have many past honorees here with us this evening. Could you all please stand so we can celebrate you if you are a past honoree? Anyone? Here we go. As past honorees, you are the legacy of Tommies who are making an impact and an inspiring change in the world. Now we will meet the 7 honorees who will walk in the Spirit and teach us through their actions. First, they inspire us to see how commitment to individual students creates a collective impact on the world. They show us how to cultivate the communities you need, creating home wherever you are. They help us challenge wrongdoings and fight for the right way forward, showing us that social change is within all our reach. They help us understand while the work is serious, we can show up with a heart of service and a healthy dose of humor. They show us how generosity is innovation, paving new possibilities for women in STEM. Last, to see a problem and not just look away, but to do something about it with bold intention for our greatest treasure, our children. All the recipients you are about to meet embody these admirable accomplishments, but they also show us the same spark for change, the same desire to recognize our shared humanity that's within us all. I'd like again to invite President Vischer to the stage to distribute the awards to our honorees. And once you receive your award, we invite honorees to pause with President Vischer for a photo before returning to your table. All right, well, let's begin. Our first honoree embodies the mission of the university, advancing the common good. That's a sign of a good night. Applause before the story. I love it. Advancing the common good, one student at a time. A marathon of classes ahead of him, no signs of stopping, but only fuel for the future. Let's watch the video.
For economics professor Dr. Terry Langen, his paper currency, student photo rosters.
Just so I can look at my current and former students.
His business, changing lives.
So today is my marathon teaching day.
A sizable investment this day with 3 straight principles of macro classes.
Yep, you're welcome. How was the golf?
It was good. It was really good.
Good. Do you give lessons?
A 9:35 a.m. to 1:20 p.m. marathon.
Good morning and welcome to the end of the second week.
But after 34 years, Langen can handle it.
A surplus pushes price down, a shortage pushes price up.
As he humbly announced this day, he's Professor of the Year.
I get so engaged with the class. I often forget I'm in class, and it just kind of sounds like I'm talking to a guy who I really admire.
Okay, maybe it's Kyle's shift in demand.
Today he said that, he used me as an example, and then said, Bellamy tried that, and then, it's just really great the way he engages his students.
The students still seem very similar to me. I mean, people talk about Gen X and Gen Y and Gen Z, and I don't know what they're talking about because I don't see that.
Langen began his academic path with a long-standing rival.
I'm a proud Johnny. Yes, I am.
But a dedicated Tommy.
So we're talking about supply and demand, right?
This day, he moves into the second of his 3 principles of macro marathon, and what fun sometimes happens here.
As I'm going, and a student will anticipate where I'm headed next, and they'll ask a question that leads me to this next point or this next area, at which point I'll reach in my pocket and find a quarter and send it their way. We're thinking the price of cotton is going up.
This student's first heart influenced his work in the dean's office.
I would want to be associated most closely with a lot of the terrific hiring that we did during those 12 years. More so the 6 years when I had a little bit more say as dean.
And those teaching hires?
I love heaping praise on Terry.
Warm, approachable leader.
He believes in the people that make up this place. He believes in what we can offer here at St. Thomas.
Have a good weekend.
Langen's labor of love supplied 3 straight classes this day. No wonder he's in demand.
I had a former student tell me that I am one of the 2 most influential people in her life. And I just looked at her and what do you say to something like that?
Keep teaching and investing in students at St. Thomas.
To me, that's just priceless.
Woo. Well, I am impressed and tired just watching. For your excellence in teaching, investment of time and service to your community. I just have to shake your hand. For your dedication to students and building a team who shapes the future, please congratulate Dr. Terry Langen as the 2024 Professor of the Year. I think you win the Fan Club Award. Congratulations. That table over there, your biggest fans. Thank you so much. Our next honoree arrived at the University of St. Thomas from overseas as an international student, never experiencing a winter before. But ask anyone on campus, she is a person who feels like sunshine. Tackling leadership positions all over campus with a smile and a purpose, Lucky created the community she needed. Let's watch.
I'm like testing out my flower technique on this.
That is really cute. The sakura, the cherry blossom.
Lucky Fan brings color everywhere she goes. Just ask her residents.
So this is my second semester here with Lucky being my RA. She's made our experience so nice. She always has the best events. She's very caring.
Whether in campus ministry, Asia Club, undergrad business council, or as a speaker at International Women's Day.
I'm a senior student studying operations supply chain and business analytics at St. Thomas.
Lucky's found her voice. You almost wouldn't know she left her heart so far away.
I don't know why whenever I talk about being international student, I'm a little bit emotional.
My city is Da Nang from Vietnam, and I love my city. We are surrounded by mountains and beautiful ocean.
Minnesota was a new world, so was starting college during a global pandemic.
When I first came, it definitely was a little bit challenging. I was homesick a lot.
When I saw my first snow, I called my mom and I say, I saw my first snow. It's so pretty.
She had not been sledding before.
Through the Friendship Family Program, Lucky matched with Opus marketing professor Mike Porter.
She just sort of comes into the room with this brightness and enthusiasm and genuine caring for the people that she cares about and knows, but also, sort of bringing people in.
His family, I can feel that they love me a lot and they care for me.
She's really become, sort of an extension of our family, and then when Happy came, then, sort of Happy becomes part of the family too.
Happy is Lucky's little sister, following in Lucky's footsteps as a Tommy, a STEM student, and an RA too.
Lucky is the best mentor ever, I would say. She helps me a lot for finding job, how to make connection with professors, and she always show her love to me.
So when she came here, I feel like something inside me is complete.
Two parts that just belong together. A little luck, a lot of happiness. Leaving one home, but finding another.
It's the community that I built. It's the friends that I met and all the meaningful encounters that I had. And St. Thomas is my second home.
For representing the ideas of our patron saint, St. Thomas Aquinas, for sharing your resilience, you can come to the stage, Lucky, fostering belonging, bringing brightness and creativity to our community. I have to say congratulations. I got to interview Lucky, so we're friends now, because she's just that kind of person. Please congratulate Lucky Fan for receiving the 2024 Tommy Award. Okay, here we go. Well, the next honoree has inspired many on his journey to challenge inequities in a broken criminal justice system, to fight for solutions that save lives. The police killing of Philando Castile impacted him deeply, along with his two co-founders, who together had a spark of an idea that became a startup to end violent traffic stops. He shows us that at the intersection of injustice and innovation, change is possible in real time.
I loved my experience at St. Thomas. I opened a letter one day and found out I was awarded a scholarship that made everything possible, and there's no doubt in my mind that I was going to be a Tommy for the rest of my life.
Jazz Hampton walked that walk as a Tommy, from an undergrad studying computer science to a St. Thomas law student turned public defender and litigator, and today back on campus as a professor of entrepreneurial finance.
Okay, everyone ready? Today we're doing a crash course on business valuation. They are teaching me just as much as I'm teaching them. So EBITDA is just earnings before interest, tax.
Reminding Jazz of how his own journey started.
I met Jazz actually playing football at St. Thomas. Jazz was always that one that everyone just wanted to be around.
Jazz left the football team and danced his way to become president of Pulse, the largest club on campus, and became president of his class, both junior and senior year.
It was this long-haired, freckled guy with braids, just the way he kind of commanded the crowd.
So Jazz was ready more than a decade later when Mike came to him during a moment our community needed it most.
When George Floyd lost his life in 2020, that said, we have to do something different. How can we use our backgrounds?
My co-founders, Andre and Mike, called me and said, we think we can build a solution and we'd like to talk to you about the idea. And my life has never been the same since. So this is the turn signal app. So anyone who has the app, you press the button and this is the home screen. And then it says connecting to attorney, please wait. For your own safety, it started recording. And so now it's recording and it's showing you the state and jurisdiction you're in as it connects to an attorney.
Jazz is now CEO of Turn Signal, a mobile app connecting drivers to attorneys in real time when they are pulled over. The startup has expanded to all 50 states. He also joined the Great North Innocence Project last year, helping exonerate Marvin Haynes, who was falsely convicted after serving 19 years for a murder he did not commit.
Getting to know Marvin on a personal level as a friend, it was something that I'll hold close for the rest of my life.
I think he just really felt a lot of compassion for Marvin and all the years that he lost. I think Jazz has a really authentic way of connecting with just about everybody.
Okay, you don't have to do the one we saw for it.
Correct.
Okay.
From the campus to the courtroom, from a startup to social justice, others learn from all Jazz does.
If I had half of his energy.
There's always a way to solve a problem.
It's just what happens when you approach life as both a student and a teacher.
I always say that everything I've done has been tributaries to the larger river of the work that I am now doing.
All right. So Jazz, I wrote this one for you. For dancing your way into the hearts of many. Are you going to give us a move? For fighting for broken systems, racial injustices, and finding solutions that move us forward. For personal triumph and professional achievements as a Tommy under the age of 40. Please congratulate Jazz Hampton for the Spirit of St. Thomas Award, inspiring us with his courage as a catalyst for change. Sort of had to pry that dance video and to get Jazz to send it over, but I'm so glad we did. Okay. Well, our next honoree, such an honor to meet. Father Malone came to St. Paul's Seminary in 1967 and has been at St. Thomas ever since. His legend is vast, his humor endless. He has earned celebrity, shall we say, for being a priest, a storyteller, a professor, an attorney, for his less than 5-minute homilies. So in the interest of keeping it short, we present to you the one and only Father Malone.
Oh, Father Malone, where to start?
All right. Don't cheat this time. I won't. In the Catholic community, he's larger than life. There's so many John Malone stories. I'm Popeye the Sailor Man. His sense of humor was something that deeply impressed me.
Wow, but it does look beautiful.
That you don't have to be that uptight, pious clergyman.
$5.25. I'm gonna give $5. He maybe takes us real seriously, but he doesn't take himself too seriously. I think I've ruined the bottom line for today. And I think it's by design.
You gave discount.
Yes.
Father John Malone's path from priest to attorney to professor, spanning 70 years, was non-traditional from the start.
Well, I hear other people get up and say, I heard a call, like a voice, and no one was calling me.
But Father Malone found his place in service, showing up for others, no matter what hand life has dealt.
John would always go down to the city jail, would sign in as the student's attorney, but then would use the opportunity because a crisis is a time when you have a student's full attention.
But that's the whole reason I wanted to get into law, was to be able to help people who needed the help.
That's the definition of his life. He's the poster priest for service.
He's an extraordinary guy.
Mark Dienhart knows firsthand, once a student in Father Malone's memorable business law class.
I got a B in the class, and that wasn't the kind of grades I was getting, so I decided I'd go talk to Father Malone.
And I looked at him and I said, "You're right. I made a mistake. You should have gotten a C. Now, I would be happy to change it to a C, or we can just leave it. Sleeping dogs lie."
So that was the beginning of our relationship, and he still takes great joy in that.
Still, behind all the stories is substance.
The Lord be with you.
Father Malone's signature style earned high marks all the way to vice president for mission at St. Thomas.
He was the one who kept the kid in school who might not have ever made it, who ultimately graduated, who ultimately maybe did something very, very important.
Oh, and I got to be his boss. That was sweet. Oh, I loved it.
But for Father Malone, titles are irrelevant when you live to fulfill a need.
Jen.
You can count on his message.
Thank you very much.
And very likely, a final word.
Cheated again. Yep, it works every time. It has given me an opportunity to get involved in the stage in people's lives of formation in college and witness the development of a mind, a character, a social person.
He makes me proud to be a priest.
He's the very best I think this institution has ever had to offer to students.
For his sense of humor, positive connections in our community, uncharted career path of service and compassion for others, unparalleled leadership, dedication to student formation, please congratulate Father Malone, the 2024 recipient of the Monsignor James Lavin Award. Our next honoree is retired Vice President of Latin America Global Channel Services, Pacific and Atlantic branches at 3M. That job took her around the world, even to her home country of the Philippines, but one thing never changed. Her passion is children. From breaking the cycle of poverty from young girls in Guatemala to helping the Ordway develop music education for kids here in Minnesota. Rosa Miller reminds students everywhere, many young women of color like her, that they can achieve their wildest dreams.
When Miss Rosa believes in you, no mountain seems too high to climb. Yes, she's a giant with a big heart.
3 words that describe Rosa. I would say pioneer. I would say committed, and I would say all about community. Rosa is a powerful soul.
It's just amazing all that she has done. Being a woman in STEM, that's not something that we see as much even now in 2024, specifically from a Latin origin.
I'm a first-generation college student. At least for me, I don't think it would have been possible to pursue my dreams if it weren't for people like her who are investing in my education.
Her legacy will be here at Doherty Family College for a long time. We can tell the story of Miss Rosa Miller and the commitment that she has made to each of our scholars. And they see it and they experience it.
She's helping students from diverse backgrounds be able to go to school, educate themselves, work in fields that maybe aren't the norm for them.
I want to get a degree in computer science. I really want to do cybersecurity. I'm also interested in the law career. I want to go into law school after I get my bachelor's.
I want to get my degree in biology, but I also I want to go to med school.
And when I think about the women at DFC, I see Miss Rosa's legacy in each of them. She's a role model for our scholars. She is also a role model for me.
Think about the context of her career as a woman in an engineering field dominated by men. She sees the power of engineering in terms of what it means for students. That path is really boundless, as she's shown. And through Rosa's involvement, she's really challenged us to steer our attention towards this important pipeline of diverse engineering talent.
Yes, Miss Rosa is definitely an angel for DFC. She doesn't do it for praise or honor or glory or recognition. She does it because it's a part of who she is. Love in action. That's Miss Rosa.
For her leadership and service to St. Thomas, generosity to children across the world, and an entire generation of young women in STEM, for being a pioneer. For being a pioneer who is committed to investing in education, inspiring a community, please congratulate Rosa Miller as the 2024 Distinguished Alumna. Our next honorees are a duo who did not set out to do humanitarian work, but they just wanted to do what was right. They met while working at Cristo Rey High School and noticed how our state's largest achievement gap was holding their students back. They knew kids deserved something different. They knew the solution could be cultivated with the right team and right approach. Today, the difference is underway, making a measurable impact at their public charter school, now a decade in the making, Perdeo Academy. Let's watch.
Good morning, Mateo. Good morning, Harmony.
Good morning.
Our scholars are why we're here.
I see kids walking in the door and finding themselves.
Who can be the loudest and proudest?
Perdeo is a Latin word that means to advance or go forward.
I'm Rick Campion.
And I'm Chancey Anderson Tower. So Minnesota has one of the largest opportunity gaps in the country. And so we founded Perdeo because we believe that a free, high-quality education is the pathway to equity.
Name. You. Sound. What's the word? Where.
We prioritized relationships and getting to know our families and building trust with them. And so we did that by knocking on doors and meeting them in the community.
Part of the instructions were for you to label your own city.
I would say that it's very open, especially like in terms of diversity and everything.
What kind of comments?
They really are willing to see like, okay, what are your needs and wants?
Their hearts are huge. Yes, you want to close achievement gaps. You want them to get to the next step and succeed, but also do it and have a good time.
Move, news, out!
I think a lot of people can
conceptualize and theorize what is wrong with education, Rick and Chancey have done something about it in creating Prodeo, and not just stopping at one campus, but actually having 2 campuses that can serve a multitude of students.
Okay, which one do we put in our head?
6.
Which that is it?
Rick and Chancey understand and have an ability for bringing people together. Trade papers with a neighbor. That shows that they're working for them. You feel that when you're in their presence.
So if you want to look through our fluency for all 3.
We're really focused on data. You know, our teachers pour over data and really look at to make sure every single student's moving.
Chancey doesn't stop. You may know about her health history. She's been going through chemo. We walked around the University of Minnesota Hospital talking about Prodeo. It's so much a part of her life.
You know, everyone has their own journey and trials that you're dealing with in your own life. Yep, mine was cancer, right? And it's something that I could sit at home all day thinking about. Or instead I can think like, okay, how are we gonna get better at this thing that we're doing that's really big and important?
On your mark, get set, go.
We're in the 82nd percentile for growth last year in St. Paul nationally. That doesn't happen by accident.
2 times 2 is what?
And no matter what happens, it doesn't change the fact that our destiny is tied to theirs. Our success is tied to theirs. And so as they go, we go. You have to stick with it.
I think it takes real courage to say that better is possible, and then to actually really take action on that.
For their outstanding contributions in service, commitment to closing the opportunity gap, for fighting for children, changing the path forward. Congratulations to Rick Campion and Chancey Anderson Tower, our 2024 Humanitarian Award recipients. Congratulations to all of this evening's honorees. We'd also like to take this time to honor past award recipients listed in the program and to again celebrate our present honorees and look ahead to St. Thomas's future, to spark the change that is in all of us. Whether it's the work that is our legacy, the impact we are making, or the potential yet to be unlocked, we hope you leave tonight with a little more inspiration as you step out into the world and make your own mark. As morally responsible leaders who think critically, act wisely, and work skillfully to advance the common good, you, the fabric and the strength of our Tommy community, inspire us today and always. And a quick reminder to our award winners to please convene at the stage for a group photo. Thank you so much for celebrating with us tonight, and I can say you all inspire me and so many out in the world. Thank you so much. Have a great evening. Thank you.